Thompson. The custom around here is you step forward so they know who you are. He is a senior policy advisor for the National Association of States United for Aging and Disabilities and the director of the National Aging Information and Referral Support Center. What a title. He has worked in various capacities in the health care sector, including in private health, public health, and healthcare education. Dr. Thompson has a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of South Carolina, a master's degree in health services management and business administration from Webster University, and a PhD in health services from Walden University. He is a Ward 5 resident. Matthew Carey has nearly 4 decades of experience in public policy and advocacy, including his most recent position as the founding president and executive director of Military Families for Progress, which is a nonprofit organization that advocates for a number of concerns important to veterans and veterans' families. Mr. Carey has a bachelor's degree from St. Bonaventure University and a master's degree in public administration with a concentration in urban affairs from American University. He lives in Ward 1. These two advocates have long worked for the betterment of our veterans and senior citizens, and I'm delighted that they will join our administration to provide support for these constituencies on behalf of the District of Columbia government. And we look forward to their hearings and confirmation by the council. Mr. Sherwood?
May I have a question to the Veteran Affairs? What does the office do?
The office does 3 things. It provides service to veterans, their dependents, and the survivors of veterans. And it provides us in 3 ways. We have an Office of Benefits and Claims that presents claims to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs for soldiers that are putting claims in for disability. Our services cut across 8 areas: outreach and advocacy, physical care, mental care, jobs, education, housing assistance, the homeless issue, and military families, which is sort of a new kid on the block as a result of OIF and OEM.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Brazil, and then
Could both of the gentlemen tell us what their salaries are going to be? And could you, Mr. Mayor, indicate whether or not they've gone through your new vetting process?
I can answer that one first.
Okay.
Yes, they have.
Well, I took a cut, and I'm glad to do it, because I'm proud to serve in the Gray administration and to help get our veterans and military families taken care of citywide. We're going to also concentrate heavily in east of the river in Ward 7 and 8. There's 50% unemployment in the veteran population in those areas, and that's got to be addressed. So, Mr. Mayor, I'm very proud to be here.
What is your salary?
Salary is $103,000. The salary is $147,000.
Yeah, a question for Mr. Thompson. Yeah, Dr. Thompson, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
The DC Office of Aging is one of the most active aging
Can you speak up, please, or stand up?
It's one of the most active aging agencies in the country, and it has been noted as such. What are you planning to do to expand on it?
Just want to give you some background, as the mayor said. The organization I'm with now, we represent DC Office on Aging and 55 other Office on Agings across the country and territories. So I've had my pulse on the district for a while, because I've been here once before. So in terms of moving forward, as I've spoken to the mayor and the deputy mayor, who's present as well, one thing is to do a comprehensive needs assessment. How do we move the organization forward? So to be able to move the organization forward, we must first understand the needs of the population, the seniors, 60 and over, as identified by the Older Americans Act of 1965. So that's one thing we'll do. And another thing is, based on the needs assessment, we'll determine whether or not we need to realign the organization. Thank you.
There has not been a comprehensive needs assessment in years, the Office on Aging, and I think it's one of the fundamental tools that we will use with respect to moving forward. In addition to focusing on the comprehensive needs assessment, I've indicated to Dr. Thompson too that I wanted to focus on what is an emerging movement in this city and elsewhere, and that is the Villages movement, aging in place, which is an alternative to taking people out of their homes and putting them into alternative living facilities. As this population ages, we certainly are not going to have, the kind of money that would be necessary to ensure quality care. And I think we can do that better in a more financially sound and more humane way by bringing services to people. I think we have now 9 chapters across the city, ranging from, Ward 3 all the way across to Ward 7 at this stage. We want to see more develop, and he's been charged with the responsibility for helping that movement continue to emerge. Mark?
Mr. Carey, and then I have a question for the mayor. How many veterans are in the District of Columbia?
Well, if you look at 2 statistics, one is the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, where you have to be enrolled and actually getting benefits. It's 34,500. If you take the U.S. Department of Census, that's 40,000. The real figure is probably a lot higher than that. If you then put in their families, wives, children, and you add in survivors, you're maybe looking at almost 1/6 of the city population.
Mr. Mayor, I asked the same question of the governor, so I'm not discriminating against you. When there was conscription, Governor of Maryland, when there was conscription, there was a lot of questions to elected public officials about our military commitment in different places, especially during Vietnam. Now there seems to be an absence of questioning, as if public elected officials can't ask questions about foreign policy to local elected officials because there isn't conscription, because it's voluntary. I'd like your view seriously and sincerely about our commitment in Afghanistan. It affects D.C. residents. They go of their own choosing. It's the longest war we've ever had. And what your general thought is about how much longer we should stay there and how we're doing there in terms of the Obama administration stance.
Well, first of all, Mark, I think I'll stay focused on local policy. I think that's a safer place to be. But I think you also know very well my sentiments about us sending people who live in the District of Columbia to fight wars in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. This is now extended to some extent to Egypt, to Libya. And the fact that in all of these instances, there's an effort to fight for democracy. And yet people come back home, hopefully they come back home, hopefully they come back fully intact physically, but they come back home to not be able to enjoy the level of democracy that they are all fighting for in faraway places. So, that is the most important issue to me, and that is that we ought to wage the same fight here in the nation's capital for democracy that is being waged elsewhere.
I understand that and sympathize with it, but I heard applause as if this insular, parochial attitude is one that should be commended forever. Is there ever a time where you would criticize this present administration about using individuals, voluntarily, to fight in wars for democracy when the democracy doesn't exist here? Are you advocating that D.C. volunteers not fight in these wars?
Well, I think you know my position on full citizenship here in the District of Columbia, Mark. And I'm not going to get into a debate today about our foreign policy and our, engagement to the extent that we have it in these skirmishes, these battles elsewhere. I think the biggest battle for us, frankly, is the one that we need to continue to wage more vigorously, and that is for our own full citizenship